this is Diane with Bolan-Beaty Boogie. Every once in a while, Marc will take questions from the universe, humans. So basically what he does is he looks at energy and the questions and gets the most he tries to get the most dominant one because he knows that's going to be the most important to us, and then tries to answer it or gives us the best answer he can along with his team. And so he did it again this week, and I never know what's going to come up. The first question that came up, which was the most dominant, was coming up before I started the show, so I knew that was going to happen. But the others I didn't know. You just never know what's going to happen and who's going to show. So I think it's always fun. He doesn't really go much into predictions, and he'll explain that. And also I wanted to share something that Marc taught me last week. And it's sometimes, when you meditate, you're always working with your energy. And for me, I'm always trying to get it to be the best that I want it to be. But that's physical and spirit energy as they're combined in your body and your aura here. And so he showed me this exercise where, so I'm doing it in the morning and in the evenings before I go to sleep. And I'm asking that the energy of my body and my spirit be at the best possible place for me, or so the best instance. And then I envision this, it's almost like, you know, at the beginning of a James Bond movie or something, where you see Bond and then this energy this round energy kind of flows in. And it's almost like, if you want to look at a chakra, it's that type of, you know, chakra spinning. So it's, it looks almost mechanical, but it kind of zeroes in. This energy kind of closes down until you get like this revolving little, it looks almost like a gadget or something, but it looks more like a chakra. And then it's spinning there. And I can feel it. I can feel that it's changing my energy in my whole space. And so when it gets down to tuning to this little, you know, like spiraling almost ball or gadget type of thing, I can really feel the difference. And it's resetting myself. It's resetting the energy that I experienced during the day and before I go to sleep, so I can sleep and be, you know, calm. And but it's really made a difference. And so try it if you want to do that. It's just basically resetting your energy as best you can to be what would be optimum for you on a both spirit and physical plane. I guess that's all I have to say. Marc and I have been working together for, I think, 10 years, starting this month. So we might do some little celebration before the end of the month on that. We do, again, have a website, www.channelingmarc.com. Take a look if you want. There's a lot of information from past years on it. Oh, yeah, and if you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to like and subscribe. Yeah, hello, everyone. Yep. I made it. Marc's here. Hello, yeah, what? Oh, yeah, I'm going to introduce myself. Okay. Yeah, I have some friends here with me. My name is, well, the spirit version of Marc Bolan, partially. Well, you know, you're made up of a lot of energy. All right, right. I'm channeling through Diane's physical body. And yeah, I'm bringing your show. Yep. Okay, yeah, and I have some friends here with me in the studio. But yeah, so I'll be talking back and forth with them. Yeah, sometimes they bring up questions that, yeah, you usually have your own questions, but sometimes I forget to bring up things, so they remind me. I do have some scouts here with me when we travel, but I don't think, well, yeah, the scouts are also good. Yeah, they're protective energies, and just make sure everything's on the up and up here in the studio, right? Yep. Okay, yeah, so let's get started. Okay, so this week on the show, we haven't done this for a while, but we do it once in a while, where we ask questions of energies on Earth. Now, this can be humans, this can be some of our viewers, it can be human questions that are just floating out there, okay? Because, yeah, energy's energy. So if there's a majority of questions, or one particular question that many people on the Earth are asking, it's going to show up, okay? And we can read that energy. Everyone can read that energy, but we can pick that up. So that's what we're going to do. Yeah, yep. And I just want to mention, okay, this is in current time. time. Okay, spirit's in current time. So we don't, we don't do a lot of what's going to happen. What's going to happen in the future. Okay, we do talk sometimes about things that have happened in the supposed past. But yeah, we don't do a lot of, okay, what's going to happen. Right. So we'll see how this goes. Yeah, and so I'm going to ask this energy, these questions, to come into the studio, and I will describe what they look like if I can. Okay, yep. Okay, so it looks like, yeah, and there could be individual, there could be individual people, or human figures who are coming up as well, if they really have something that they want to ask. Now, they may not know that they're asking me specifically or the group here specifically. It's just a question that they want to have answered by someone in the universe, okay? And so we were going to offer our response to them, and then they can decide what to do with it or nothing, or ignore it or whatever. Okay, yeah. What? Oh, do we need to? No, I don't think we need to go into that. I don't think I need to go into that anymore. It's just, yeah. Okay, so let's just, well, I'll do a brief one. Okay, so let's say you're confused about something, and you think to yourself, why is this happening? Why did this happen? It could be something personal. It could be something in your community. It could be something, why did somebody win something? It could be anything. Okay, it's a question. Now, yeah, more often than not, we're going to get questions here on the show today that not necessarily predominant, well, not necessarily order of importance, and I should quote unquote that, because every question is important, okay? But these questions are going to be, or these energies are going to be ones that are more dominant in the space, okay? So that means that there's more force behind it, or a lot of people are asking the same thing, and we're not limiting it to humans, okay? It could be questions from the planet Earth. It could be questions from animals. It could be questions, not inanimate objects. I wouldn't say, we're not gonna look into that so much. We're not gonna look into that. Yeah, and we can filter this out, of course. Okay, so come forward, please. Come forward with your questions, or and it can also be if somebody wants to just say, okay, this is my take on the situation. What do you guys think? What's your take on it? Okay, so that's really, 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 really important. Okay, to have back and forth with people, with the planet. Okay, because if you ask the Earth something, and I mean, maybe it does appear to be silly to some, okay, but it's not. If you ask the Earth questions, if you listen, you're going to get a response, okay? You're going to get a response. And that's how energy exchanges are, okay? But if you're open to it, okay? If you say, well, this is silly, how can the Earth possibly respond to me? Then that's going to block that off, okay? That's more than likely, not necessarily 100%, but more than likely, it'll block off any type of, because you've got that filter up. You've got a filter up saying it's not possible. So that's going to shut it down probably. Okay. And you can, that might be a good thing to bring up. Okay. So you do. Okay. You have some filters. And we've talked about this before on the show. Everyone's got filters, okay? It can be from beliefs. It can be from your religious beliefs. It could be from political beliefs. It could be personal beliefs. It could be beliefs from your family or parents that you've taken on in your space, okay? So when something comes your way and it feels, you can feel it, okay? If you're in tune with your energy or with your thoughts or with your feelings or your emotions, sometimes, and you could do it all the time depending on how open you are, okay? But you can get a little, maybe it's a little like uncomfortable, right? Or maybe it's like, it feels like something's being stopped, okay? The question or the answer that's coming back to you if you're asking a question, or if you have a thought and you're looking for some type of response from somewhere, if it feels like it's not coming back, okay, or it's stopping, or it feels like it's literally going through some type of filter, then you might look into that. Because that could be one of the reasons. Maybe it's that you're not ready to hear the answer, right? It could be that too, but it could be also that there's a filter set up and you're not allowing yourself to hear that response. or yeah, it could be a time situation where where your guides could be blocking it because you've asked them to, or you're blocking it because you ask yourself to, because you're not ready to hear it. Okay, so yeah, and that's actually a fun thing to do. That's actually a really fun thing to do, and you get to know yourself better that way. And good point. They're saying here, if you notice, okay, that you're asking maybe the same question, okay, maybe, yeah, or the same type of question about the same thing. Yeah, well, does the universe like to be asked the same question over and over again? Well, you might get the same answer from the universe or spirit or yourself, okay? You might still not get the answer, and for whatever reason that might be. But if you tend to ask the same question over and over again, it might be because of that. You're asking the same question, and maybe wait and change the energy a little bit, or change the form of your question a little bit, okay? Okay, so let's bring in the questions again to the forefront. Yep. You can move faster than that. Yep. Please move faster. Okay. Yeah. Oh. We've got somebody. Ooh, who? Yeah. Okay. So we've got somebody. Looks like you're almost standing on somebody's shoulders, right? So you really want to be heard, right? Right. Okay. So this means, yeah, there's a lot of energy behind this. Yeah. And I think we got a sense of this question before. Okay. So yeah, come forward. Okay. So what would you like to say, or what's your question? Okay. Yep. Well, this is, yeah, I'm sure this is on a lot of people's minds. Okay, so this question is, why does the Earth, or why does the planet seem to be so, what do you think? Messed up. It messed up, or disarray? Okay, in disarray. Okay, yeah. Why is there so many conflicting? It feels like conflicting energies. Okay, well, yeah, it's an important question. I'm sure a lot of people are thinking about this right now. Okay, and there's a lot of obviously a lot that's going on. Okay, so and also, okay, your viewpoint about anything, any type of energy, any situation is going to be paramount. Okay, so let's say you're thinking, yeah. So if you hold the belief that everything is quote unquote messed up, or everything is in disarray, or everything, and it's a personal opinion, but look at your outlook. Okay, look at your outlook. Is there a more positive slant you can take on that? Okay, maybe look at it more that I came down here in this physical life to bump up against not so much conflict, but differing opinions. Okay, differing opinions, or I'm going to get that too. They're saying this entity here is saying, or this energy here is saying, yeah, but what if it harms others? Okay, and that is, of course, that's really, really important. So how can you take a neutral viewpoint? Okay, but it is. Well, no. I mean, you're going to have your opinion. It's best to try to keep as neutral a viewpoint as you can. Okay, it is, because then you can also see. It's easier to see differing viewpoints then. Okay, and yeah, you've come down here in order to experience this, and many may not believe that, but that's true. If you didn't want to have the shoulder bumping or brushing up against things that maybe are new to you, or different than your own, then you wouldn't have bothered coming down, because you would stay where you were in spirit. I mean, it's not like there's not differing opinions about energies or thoughts in spirit, but you get it's much yeah, I'm trying to talk too fast. So Marc, yeah, my thoughts are trying to come through Diane's brain, and this is when I back up sometimes. Beep. Yeah, right. Because they come through faster than a human brain can take them on. Okay, but I'm trying here. So yeah, now I thought, yeah. So that's what happens. You would stay in spirit, but there's it's much more energized in a different way on a physical planet. Okay, so. And you have the opportunity to run across, not that you don't in spirit, but it's just a different energy. It's a different vibe in spirit. And because, you're aware of so much more, not that you can't be on Earth, but viewpoints that you have in spirit are going to be different when you're on Earth in the physical. Some are going to be the same. Some are going to be, different. Right. So you're giving yourself this opportunity. And again, we've talked about this before. And how you approach it will make all the difference to your outlook. Okay. Yeah. If you're sitting there thinking, oh, everything's horrible. I can't even face walking out the door. Yeah. And, these are all things that you're giving yourself the opportunity to either look at, overcome, or not. So it's all up to you. But we're suggesting, okay, to try to take as neutral a viewpoint. Now that's going to be hard to do, especially in many of the political situations and seeing what's happening on the earth. It's going to be hard to be neutral. You're going to take a really, maybe a strong stand versus one way versus another. Okay. And that's important too. It's important too, to be vocal and to stand up for what your beliefs are. Right. So, but if there's any way that you can take a neutral viewpoint on every situation, it's always good. It's always good. And I know, we're saying it, we realize in spirit that can be very difficult, but then, so you've come down here to do this. Okay. So your question, why is it? So I'm answering that. Okay. I'm answering that. So it's all on your outlook of things. Okay. Yes. There's a lot of conflicts. There's a lot of, unfortunate, a lot of it seems like cruel things. And there are cruel things happening on the earth right now. And it's happening to the planet. It's happening to animals. It's happening to the climate. It's happening to individuals. Okay. But if you could take the viewpoint that, okay, change happens. Changing it, there's a lot of change happening right now, and you're part of that. And again, we've talked about that in other episodes. But and change usually happens quicker when there's a lot of energy that is conflicting, okay, or having different viewpoints. So change is going to happen. So the earth is in a process, the humans race is in a process of wanting change faster than it's been happening, okay? And you probably feel that. There's been And if we look back on fairly recent history, the wheels are kind of grinding a little slower or slowly, right? And now they're going faster. Okay, they're going faster. The gears are going faster, and so the everyone's, how should I say that? I'm seeing it. Everyone's input, everyone's awakening to this change that everyone wants to have on the planet. You're kind of the oil, the lubricant of how these gears are changing. If that makes, So you can envision it like that or however you want to. But, okay, so this is, and this is important, okay? And then I'll move on to another question. So this is giving you an opportunity to be vocal about what you want, okay? To make changes that you want, okay? Or you cannot. But this is giving you a really, 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 especially in the US and in other countries where the political situations are either oppressive or unstable. It's giving you the option, when and if you can, to make your voice heard and to get out there and do something about it. And many of you could be saying, and Diane says this to herself, she didn't really care about politics before, or maybe, not the climate. She cares about the climate, but she didn't really care about politics so much until it started, kind of blowing up in a direction that she knew she didn't want the country to go in. And I think a lot of people on the planet are experiencing this as well. So it's your time to make the change that you want to make. Okay. Yep. So, okay. Another question, please. Or another observation. Let's get back to that one. I've answered that one before. It was a music question. I've answered that one before. No. Not that one. Yeah. Well, they're asking, what do you see happening in the future? And so we've talked about that too. There's so many, when you're in spirit, okay, and even on earth, you could look at this. There's so many different options and so, we could sit here and give you maybe the 5 top ones of what could possibly happen in any situation, but is it really going to be that helpful, right? And plus, spirit is very, 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 very cautious about suggesting a certain outcome for any situation, because you never know. It could be that somebody else is involved in your question, and you can't control what they do. So somebody could say, oh, well, this person is definitely going to ask you to marry them, or him or her. And then something happens to, and they don't. But you're pinning all your emotion and your energy on this outcome that you've been told. And so we don't really do that. We don't really do that so much. Yeah, I mean, I know it would be nice to think that something's going to happen just because somebody told you it might possibly happen, and it gives you some security, but it also might refocus you outside of what you were originally going to do, which is your choice too. Yeah. Okay, so that's why we're not going to really do that. Okay. Yeah. So somebody else. Yeah. Yeah. No. Well, I've got a lot of energy here, but no one's being predominantly robust. Okay, yeah. Okay, here comes somebody. Here comes some energy. Okay, yeah. Please come forward. Please come forward. Oh. Okay, they're saying, do the spirits see history play out over and over and over again? And how important is it to look at that? Okay, well, yeah. It's true, it does. Okay, but yeah, what we've seen, and history does replay itself, okay, over and over again. And it's especially important when you see this happen, because it means that it either hasn't been resolved, or there needs to be more energy brought to that, either if it's a situation or an idea, or so it's not resolved sufficiently enough for the energy to continue to kind of dissipate. Okay, so that could be human conflict, that could be animal human conflict, that could be like things that we've been talking about on the show. Okay, so yeah, it's going to keep coming up because you, or the energy, the humans on the planet, are either so it's either wane, the energy is wane from that. Because if you look at it, okay, many of the people who lived during World War II, okay, are now gone. So that experience of the horrific things that happened during that war, and it did bring about a lot of change, okay? The current time, the current lifetime is they're gone. So it's another opportunity, okay, to have some of the things that weren't resolved in that come back up again, because obviously humans and the energy are not finished with it. It's going to come back up. So it's going to come back up until at some point humans decide that they don't need to look at it again. Okay, does that make sense? Yep. So that's how that works. Okay, somebody else? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, there's somebody coming down the middle here. Okay, yeah, please come forward. Okay. Yeah, and this is it looks like this is interesting. So it's looks like a ball of energy, and then other balls are joining it and making it larger. Yeah. So you are an energy form, a very large ball at this point. Yeah. So who are you? Okay. Okay. Yeah, so it's saying, you're interdimensional energy. So you're from another, you would be considered from another universe. Yeah. I'm looking at you. It would be considered future time. Yeah, on the earth. Okay. So what's your question? Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, obviously. Okay. So it's saying, let me just tune in a bit. Yeah. Well, okay. It's this energy is asking. I have to translate because sometimes when energy comes, it's not in any type of English. It's in Yep. Oh, okay. Yeah. So so this isn't really a question. This energy is saying, now this energy has been watching Earth. Okay, and it's energy that it's kind of wanting to reassure everybody, okay? It's kind of wanting to reassure everybody on the planet, because it's saying that in its universe, okay, yeah, it's many millennium or whatever years ago, okay, it had similar planets like the Earth, okay? Now they're saying the Earth is a very, well, the planet, of course, is old. Of course. But the civilization on it, the human civilization on it, it's not that old compared to other things. Yeah, other planets and or other universes or yeah, galaxies. Okay, things like that. So they're saying you have to give yourself a break in a way, because the humans on Earth are not. You're going at your own pace. Okay, let's just say that you're going at your own pace as a civilization and as a society, and it's much slower than other planets. Okay, yeah, outside of this universe. So you're going at a much slower pace. So, and it may not feel like that. It may not feel like that, but you are. So you're going at the pace that you want to go in. Now, if you want to speed it up, that's up to you guys, okay? You're speeding it up a little bit right now because there's so much coming at you, and there's so much giving you the opportunity to say, okay, well, you know what, I have an opinion about this now. I didn't used to think about it, but now I really have an opinion about it, and I'm going to join my energy with how I feel, and that's going to give it a momentum, okay, to make change faster. That's how change happens, okay? Change happens because of energy, the power of the energy behind it, okay? So if you're all getting behind a certain idea or a certain thought, that's going to keep the ball rolling bigger and bigger, just like this, the way this energy presented itself. It started off as a small ball, balls added to it, energy balls added to it, and now it's very, 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 very large in front of me. So it's demonstrating what it's trying to say here. Basically that you're giving yourselves on the planet an opportunity to do the same thing. And that's how change is going to happen, when you band together and make it happen, okay? Thank you. Thank you very much for coming on the show. Yep. Yeah, let's just take a few more because, yeah, well, yeah, let's just see how things go. Yeah, let's take one. Yeah, I think there was one back there about creativity and art and music. Yeah, can you come forward? Yeah, because you know that's a topic that I'm very dear to Marc's heart, my heart. Yep. Okay. Yep. Okay. Oh, great. Okay, so this energy is asking, how can artists, okay, creative people, is there any special power or energy that they have that can really affect change, or how would they best use their abilities? Okay, and is it different? Well, yeah, that's it. Well, it's okay. So they're kind of saying, is creative energy a different type of energy or a different frequency of energy versus maybe something else? Okay, so let's look into that. That's an interesting question. Okay. Well, it can be. Okay, it can be. When you think about creating maybe a poem, a love poem, or if you think about creating a beautiful piece of music or a piece of artwork, it's the intention behind it. Okay, so that's the frequency of what it is, or part of it. Okay, part of it. So so if you're, even if something's maybe melancholy because you're sad, okay, that doesn't mean it's necessarily the frequency would be different or the energy would be different. It would just be coming from a different place. Okay, so it's not necessarily better or worse. Okay, it's not necessary. Now, if you're putting if you're doing something that maybe would hurt another being or the planet, or if you're creating maybe something that, if the energy is not yeah, well, you get what I'm saying, okay? If the energy is maybe not for the best purpose or the higher intention of everyone on the planet, yeah, that's not going to be at the same frequency as something that would be wanting to evolve the planet, bring people closer together, help the environment. Okay, yeah, it's going to be a different frequency because the intention behind it is different. Okay, it's going to be a lower frequency. And energy is all about frequency and intent, and the passion behind it. Right. So yeah, it is going to be different. It is going to be different. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that that's going to be more popular. The one that is bringing people together. It could be that the other one. It all depends on who's going to rally behind it. Okay, and then back it up and back it up. Yep. So it all depends. It all depends. Okay, somebody else, let's take a few more, and then, yeah, I gotta go. Okay. Yep. Yeah, can you please come forward? Yeah, so you're looking very small. You're looking like a mouse. Are you asking a question on behalf of animals? No. Children. Yeah. I think kids are great. Yeah, children are great. Yeah. Yeah. And yes, Marc. Yeah, I loved kids. Yeah, I love kids, and I really supported children and teenagers and young adults who were really open. Who were really putting themselves out there and saying, "Hey, we're different. We've got a voice." Yeah, because, and I've talked about this before too. Yeah, I repeat myself a lot, don't I? Yeah, but it's all important to me, okay? Because when I grew up, a lot of it was children. Yeah, it was still the Victorian adage that children should be seen and not heard. Okay, and in the 60s, of course, that was, and even in the 50s, that was really changing with the music that was coming out, with the fashions that were coming out, and it was showing a real independence for young adults and kids too. Kids are so wonderful, and I promote that a lot. Kids are just amazing. And it's really important to listen to what they have to say. Really important, okay? Yeah, because they don't have a lot of the viewpoints that an older person would, because they haven't been alive and they still have some of their, and kids are great too, because they don't necessarily, until they're told that things aren't possible, they really know that things are possible. Anything's possible. That some amazing, really things that are happening when you get to be an adult. Sometimes you're like, oh, that can't be possible. No, that can't be possible. Ghosts don't exist, or spirits don't exist, and things like that. So kids are really important to hear what they have to say. Okay, yeah. So you want to come forward, yeah, for on behalf of children. Okay, so what would you like to ask? Oh, they're saying I just answered their question. How important? How can children be heard? Okay, well, yeah, and their viewpoints are so important, and why haven't people listened to them in the past? Okay, well, that's it, because people feel that, children don't have any experience. Why would you listen to what they have to say? Okay, I'm not saying everyone. No, of course not. But that has been, okay, you're a child. What do you know? Right. But they know so much. Okay. So how would a child, if a child's being told, be quiet, you don't have any authority, you must do what you're told. Okay. Yeah, that type of thing. And it is very, very difficult to be a child. Yeah, it is very difficult. So what you have to do is, because, and legally children are not allowed to do very much if you think about it. Yeah. And so there are obviously safety precautions set up for children, like a 7-year-old can't drive or something like that. Right. But so as much as possible, if you have children in your life or around you, schools are important. Schools are important because and not a lot of creative freedom offered in a lot of schools. Okay, and there's a lot of conformity. In schools, and that's either set up by the adults and the system, or the government, or the individuals and the kids, because it's very clicky right in schools. So it's very difficult, and so just be aware of that. Okay, the children have a very difficult time trying to get through everything, and trying to get through showing some type of independence without being struck down. Okay, so So work with your children. Okay, work with your children. Know that they're not, just because they're young, it doesn't mean they're unintelligent. Okay, they're very intelligent, and they will grow as much as you give them opportunity. Right. And that would be easier than having them try to do it all on their own. Right. So it's very important, and to offer them as much creative freedom as they possibly can, and to open their world to all types of possibility. And if they have a different viewpoint than you, maybe they don't want to be the same religion, maybe they don't have the same sexuality, or the sexuality they're supposed to have, be open to who they are and who they want to be, and let them create who they want to be. Okay. Yep. Okay, I think that's it for today. Yep. I'd like to thank everyone for coming on the show and asking their questions, the energies who came here. Thanks for being here in the studio with me, and I'm signing off now this week, and we'll see you soon.